Notice that you've got a subheading in that box there, which reads from about 2005 BC, etc.
Yeah.
And is it enough to get the kids to identify subheadings, or do they really need to formulate the question? Can subheadings help, or go paragraph?
I think subheadings can help. Yeah, I think they can. But I'm not sure if all we processed, are you saying should all we processed be the subheadings?
No. I mean, we could alternate between questions and subheadings.
Oh, yeah.
My line of thinking is that we would teach them to summarise maths.
Yeah, and that's what Rob's saying is a really great point, because if we just jump down to our post-reading, so we have the students going through the text, and you'll see this in your notes, but see if we get to the text here, now this is the end of it. This is after we've done it. Now imagine being able to replace all of this by one question. That's pretty powerful in the kids' minds. So we've gone through it, we've read through it, and we've got them being able to replace each of those paragraphs with a question. That's pretty good. So you're right, mate. It's summarising it, but it's summarising it in a very,
The question covers the entire paragraph. It's going to be a fairly complex question, isn't it?
Yep. It is, and you can also see what Rob's saying. Imagine having this text. We've read this text, and we then took the little yellow stick-on labels, and on each paragraph we stuck a question. And I had the kids just look back at that and say, "Well, what's that about?" Well, it's there, mate. It's really clear, and I found that actually a really good activity to do with the students. What is everyone? Are you all happy with that? That we actually put that. Now we shouldn't. And thanks for coming, girls. Thanks for great to see you. Now we shouldn't really keep the girls waiting, so we should get underway.
You have to know about the book where you want to look at the title.
Aisha said, well, one thing you need to do is look at the title, and you try to say it in different ways. And then Aisha went on and said, it's called Tricking the Tiger, which is the name of the text. And then you went on to say, well, you could say this in other ways. So the girls haven't seen the book before, and so that's a pretty good start. That's great, Aisha. Would someone else like to say anything else you might do?
You can guess about what the book is right about.
Good.
And maybe look the cover and titles. It's just guessing.
Okay. And is there anywhere else we can go on, Aisha?
Look at the pictures, what is the pictures about, and you can find out more information about it.
So by looking at the pictures, and the pictures on the cover are probably not fantastically rich in one way, but there are a few animals. So what do you see on the cover, Song? Well, how would you say some of the things on the cover?
Cat and cow, dog.
Now, what's something else we can do before we begin to read the book? So we can look at the pictures, look at the cover.
Can read the blurb.
Okay, read the blurb. Now, will we have a go at doing that? Now, you guys might want to just run your eye over the blurb first, because I'd be good if we read it aloud, because not everyone's got a copy of this. But before we read it aloud, you guys should look at it first and just tell yourself if there's any word you're not sure of, just ask me. In fact, why don't you in pairs? So if you two guys just work, you work together on each one, and just read it to each other first, and then we'll read it aloud. So Song, you do it with Jay. That's good. So Lucy, would you like to read the first bit aloud?
Tricking the Tiger is a collection for plays that best. Fox tales from Pepper, New Korean, Pakistan, Indian, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Japan, and Indonesia.
That was great. Thanks, Lucy. Now, there were some really difficult words in that, some words for country names. They're not easy, so perhaps we should just go through them again. So if I go through and read them, could we then read them together after that?
Yeah.
So, Tricking the Tiger is a collection of plays based on folk tales from Papua New Guinea, Korea, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Japan and Indonesia. So could we all read that together slowly, just so, because those words, they're not easy words. So, Tricking the Tiger is a collection of plays based on folk tales from Papua New Guinea, Korea, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Japan and Indonesia. So what is that first sentence telling us? What's another way of saying it? Tricking the Tiger is the name of the book. But what's it telling us? What's another way of saying it's a collection of plays? Say it, girlfriend.
For the countries.
Good girl. And what has come from the other countries? What have we got from other countries?
Play.
So we've got some plays. What would be another word for a play? Say it again. Drama. Good. A drama from those countries. What's a folk tale? What's another word for tale? Say another word we could use instead of a tale, a folk tale. If I tell you a tale, I tell you about something that may not really have happened.
Oh, not true.
It's not true, and it has a beginning, and it has an end and a middle. So what would be another name for something like that? It could be so folk tale, it could be so something that I start off to tell you something, it has a beginning.
Story.
You think a story, Jake? And you'd be right. So a tale is another word for story. What would be another word we could use? Instead of tale, a story, say it again, Lucy. It could be a paragraph. And in fact, we'll see that there are quite a few. That was good. We'll see there are quite a few paragraphs in the stories we'll be reading. So another word for a story, a tale, a story. Say it. That's good. Say it, Joe. So it's going to have a plot. It's going to have a plot, isn't it? Okay. Now, what if it's a folk tale?
It's true.
It could be true. It's getting close to being true. What's another word for folk? Okay, folk is another word like for people. So if we say a folk story, what did you just say, Aisha, before? It was, so if they're folk stories, they could be stories that are true, and they would be about
the people. Like, if, for example, someone died, they write a real story, and or something other happened.
Okay, so it's something that happened in these people's lives. So what might be some other things that are in our folk stories?
Like about the animal, you write about the animal, what happened to them.
How people do things with animals.
Yeah.
Okay, something else. What else might be in it? And remember, this story was Tricking the Tiger. So it could be how
you trick the tiger.
people did trick the tiger.